Good morning, Damon. Talk to me about, I noticed that you're into guitar, playing the guitar. How did that come up as one of your hobbies? Why did you get into that? What prompted you to go into that?
Yeah, it seems pretty far away from, real distant from what I am currently doing. But I think I just have always been interested in learning new things. Nothing is too, with hard work, I've always felt, and practice, you can get good at anything, not necessarily master, right? But get good at anything. And I've always wanted to just have an interest in playing an instrument from very early years of blowing on a trumpet that was really horrible. The neighbors could hear that in the mornings, but I didn't practice a lot. And so guitar was something I just wanted to pick up and learn.
Have you been able to leverage, YouTube and watching videos and do a little bit of self-learning to help you with that? How has technology helped you?
Yeah, I have there's a couple different apps that I use to gain information around what chords or tabs are used for different songs. And so I'll access YouTube also for different instructors, and really YouTube's been really useful for comparing different instructors and getting information from different people, which is useful in any aspect of our lives, right? Getting all the information from one source might not be the best way I learn. So trying a couple different, teachers, you'll see different teachers online. That's, I guess that's just a carryover skill from life that you learn. Okay, one YouTube video is great, but let's try but I didn't really get what he was saying. So let's try a different instructor, see how they explain it. And one instructor might explain some aspect well, and another instructor might have their particular, area of expertise in explaining things. So YouTube's been great. I take lessons too, and have somebody come to the house or go to somebody's studio. So
excellent. Well, Damon, let's get into this interview. Talk to me, just your background growing up. What profession did you see yourself in when you grew up as a youngster?
Yeah, we were asked this just yesterday too. As a icebreaker at the beginning of a meeting, but I think probably as a vet, actually, more because I just liked animals, right? Want to be a vet, not because I knew all that much about it, or a professional athlete, right? The things you do a lot of times or enjoy, you think you want to be when you get older. But as I get older, I think I learned maybe I have an aptitude in some different areas, which I was then moved toward and was drawn into. So
yeah. And what else is great too is that the way we are today with the internet and the technology and flexibility, you can still do many other things other than your job as like playing the guitar. So and I know that you raise horses too, that you're involved in that. So we live in a great time where you can do things that might not necessarily be part of your career, but are things you enjoy.
Yeah, so neat to be able to take some of that learning on independently, right? If I follow a video carefully, I might be able to train a horse, and that's what I did years ago, a little before the internet. They probably had now, this same trainer probably has plenty out on YouTube and the internet, but videos were the method of technology at the time. So it worked well.
Excellent. Now, before you landed your role, because of the work you did as an assistant principal to an alternate high school with the program for construction, can you share the importance of networking and developing relationships? Because obviously that helped you in your current role.
Yeah. I think one of the really cool things about being a principal in that role at the alternative school was that when things are pitched to you from outside organizations, you kind of get are able to get behind those or not, and kind of see big picture why they might be good for the school and good for students. Any ideas? In this case, we were connected at the time. The alternative school that I worked at had and provided different pathways for students, career pathways for students. We ran automotive, we ran cosmetology, culinary options also students had, and construction then became one after the Housing and Building Association president approached our school and our superintendent, and we formed a partnership, and they helped to stand up a program in our school. That relationship that I built with the president of the Housing and Building Association, Renee Zentz, down in Colorado Springs. Later on, years afterwards, when I was ready to leave education and do something else exciting, she was the one who connected me with this job, which is really a training school. The Colorado Homebuilding Academy is a school that's really focused on construction careers, and so it was a good fit. But it was it was building those relationships, showing that I could work in partnership with an outside organization, that we would problem solve things together, that we would just collaborate well. People value that, and I think when there's movement or they see openings, they will suggest you for a different career if that's the direction you're going.
Excellent, excellent. Yeah, I really wanted to highlight that because I think nowadays, when people are making decisions to bring somebody on, there has to be that trust that, we know a lot of people can do a job when we are considering them, but it's that relationship and knowing what we're getting with that individual. And I think that's what helped with the relationship you built.
Yeah, I think when somebody can vouch for you and they can say to somebody else, hey, I've worked with this person over a period of time, and this is the demeanor that I've seen, or this is the way in which they collaborate. They might have these deficits, but I can work with these, or you can work with these in this way. And so those are real valuable connections that you can make.
Tell us about the Colorado Homebuilding Academy for folks who are not with it. Tell us about it.
Yeah, happy to. The Colorado Homebuilding Academy is basically a training school that helps people get started on their pathway to a career in construction. We offer a number of different courses here at the Academy. The demographic that we see very often are people who we want to come through our doors and want to move into a career are people who are maybe underemployed, unemployed. They might be career shifters very often. And so we offer our bread and butter pretty much is our boot camp training, which is an introduction to construction, hand tools, power tools, overview of the construction process, safety, construction math, basic print reading, and some light framing up of a wall. Maybe a project at the end, either 4 weeks or 8 weeks. That's our bread and butter. We run hundreds of people through that course. Then they might go on to kind of a second level course, trade course, maybe more trade specific in the area of carpentry. Right now we're building almost finished sheds, big 10 by 12, 12 by 16 sheds, some totally finished, tape textured, electrical, and so pretty finished out. We sell those then. That's the one carpentry second level course, trade course. The other second level trade courses are electrical course, and that's another 80-hour course. Everything from learning the basics of how how power works, to actually running switches, 2 ways, 3 ways, hanging fans, running conduit. And so we have a whole hands-on portion also. All our classes have an online access to it. You have access, students have access to an online platform. They take quizzes, can access presentations, vocabulary, and everything that's needed. And all our students will, this year, we're proud to say, earn an industry certificate when they, industry recognized certificate when they graduate from a course. That's really important to us. And it's something that they can walk to an employer and say, these are the competencies that I can fulfill, that I can complete and do on an everyday basis. And so those are different level courses, those competencies. So also we offer an OSHA certification, OSHA 10 certification. Every student can take advantage of that course. And then also everybody who completes the boot camp training will walk with a set of starter tools, a tool bag worth of tools worth over $200. So a lot of great tools to start with. You want to be able to start your first day with tools. You want to go to your employer and say, hey, I can do all these things, but I don't have any tools to do them with. It's really nice if those students are able to, or those graduates, those new employees are able to start a first day with a set of tools. At the back end of our trainings, we have a career coach that helps all of our students connect with an employer in our employer network. And the real value of connecting with a career coach after training to get slotted for a job or introduced is the career coach can talk to you about what your skill set might be, what your preferences might be. Might provide you a little information about the industry that you might not already know, and say, hey, you'd be really good in finished carpentry. You'd be really great as the skills you're telling me, the things that you like and feel you're good at. You might be a great plumber. You might be a good electrician. And so our career coach can help you in those areas, and then provide a soft, kind of a warm introduction to an employer, direct you to applications that might be open. And so that's really the value there. We also have a person on staff too who is our navigator, who helps people stay in our courses when they're here. People might have, and our navigator has access through a collaborative to different supports. Those might be a need for childcare. So she can connect you to different child care services, mental health services. You might need boots, might need apparel. And so our navigator can help people stay in those courses. Maybe might need a gas card, bus pass. And so really even getting to training on an everyday basis might be an issue too. And that's really a value of talking to the career coach also, right? Because a career coach is going to know then, oh, well, here are the barriers to your employment. This is an employer that really will work well with you in this area where you have a need or a challenge. And so hopefully our whole staff, from our recruiter who brings people on and tells people up front, look, we're geared toward getting people on the path and road to a great career, not a job, a career, because after training, and I guess we're going to talk more about this, right? There are so many great avenues within construction, thousands. There's opportunity for advancement and a great career, not just a summer job. And so from our recruiter to our great trainers to our career coach, we're here to set people up to be successful.
No, that makes sense. I love the support system because there's so much value in having a career coach. People pay a lot of money to have those type of services. That's not cheap. And the fact that you put that in, the fact that you've removed obstacles for people like childcare or transportation is a big deal. Like I remember when I was working in retail and I didn't make a lot of money, I didn't have a car. So when I had looked at jobs, they had to be on a bus line. And people don't think about that. You know, everybody thinks that everybody's where you are in life. So if you have a car in life and you're fine, that doesn't mean everybody's in the same situation. So I love that, that you've taken the time to think about that. You've probably experienced some challenges with people not having transportation or those challenges that you addressed. So you addressed it and you removed the obstacles, which is great. I'm also curious, how much does the previous people who graduated from your program help in terms of, they've been successful, so that makes the companies more inclined to come back and use your employees, your students, hire them?
Yeah, we've had some great success with students moving out into the industry. Is that what you're referring to?
Students who came through the program and now are working for these companies have done a great job, and now these companies have more confidence, obviously, if they've had your students.
Yeah, we've had a couple builders who, and I was just at the couple weeks ago, I was at the custom remodelers and builders, custom remodelers and builders council. And one of the gentlemen there has hired 4 people from us, one from our high school program, right out of high school, and then 3 other individuals who have graduated from our training. So they're coming back, and they're finding that this is what we want the academy to be, is a pool of ready, whether that is ready skilled workers or unskilled workers for employers. I always tell employers too, come to the academy, come and just drop in. Classes will usually be taking place. You can learn more watching somebody here on the floor interact with their instructor, hands-on completing their work, than you probably can in a half hour of an interview with them. So come to the academy anytime.
100%.
And talk to our graduates.
100%. So as an educator, please share how we can influence educators, your former educator, influence, educators, parents, to encourage students to pursue careers in the skilled trades. Because there's a big push for pushing kids to college, and college isn't for every kid. How do we get education and parents to consider other careers?
Yeah, I have talked so much about this with my educator friends too, right? There is and maybe has been for years, a perception about the construction industry that maybe it's not professional as professional as it should be, or maybe it's boring, maybe it's not challenging. It's all of those things, actually, in reverse of what they think. It's very professional. The people I meet in construction are probably some of the most positive, encouraging, giving people that I've ever met. And that's coming out of education, right? This is my second career. There's so many opportunities really for career advancement. I would say too, and I always tell people I'm thrilled about this, that I think construction is one of the few industries left where you, just to get started and really begin to advance, don't need that much formal education. You can get into it as a laborer, right? Work your way up, get training on the job, show that you're competent, you're capable, you are excited about the work and willing to learn, and you can move up and then receive more training, maybe go back to school at that point too. But the opportunities for career advancement are there, the financial benefits are there. The wages in construction are great. I can talk a little bit more specifically about that later, but there's really just a great stimulating atmosphere too of learning and being challenged to problem solve on the job, collaborate with others. There's every opportunity in construction that we are told about in other quote unquote better professions, right? And so construction is just a great profession. And again, right, you can, 3, 4, 5 years out of after graduating high school, you can be way ahead of your peers as far as what you don't owe in terms of formal education, and you can be really well on your road to a career with making a great salary. I've always told high schoolers too, it's like a no-brainer, because some of our high schoolers at the alternative school, they didn't have a lot of, foresight or just goals, aspirations. And as they're getting into some of the trades, and they're seeing that they have an aptitude maybe in the electrical arena, I'm telling them, look, this is a no-brainer. You graduate high school, you get on with an electrical company, they pay for you to train for a couple of years in the evenings. They take a little bit of cash out of your weekly pay, but you're getting training on the job at minimal hours in the evening. Over the course of a number of years, you become a journeyman, and you're making, a great salary with that you can take that certificate, and you can go anywhere in the country, and you can work. And that's just a road to a great setting them up for success. And there's time, I think, I always thought this too, there's time later on in life to go back and spend years in college if you want to. And when you're making a great salary, you can pay for that yourself too, and not going to debt. Right. Yeah. So it's another route too.
Yeah. I also would add that if you want to do your own business, as an electrician, you have that option. Somebody will always pay you to fix anything that's electrical in their home, because that's the one thing people don't take chances on messing with. If they don't know, the majority of it, they're not going to try and fix their electric. People can attempt their plumbing every now and then, but if you mess up on your electrical, that's a fire, or you could get electrocuted. Most people are, average homeowners are not going to fix that. So great skill set to have. Also can save them money if they have, if they have a problem in their own homes where they live. And,
absolutely.
Yeah.
Yes, so, Michael. Michael, our instructor Michael Notar Tomaso is our instructor for the electric. His dad was an electrician growing up, and so it's natural that he came in. He's not an electrician by trade, but is a builder and is teaching our electrical course. Did a lot of back study. He says the same thing all the time. You will always use this at home. This is a skill you can use for the rest of your life. And just as you said, people don't want to mess with it. My brother's a master plumber. He does not want to mess with electrical ever.
And your brother's handy. I bet your brother's handy.
He is.
I'm confident he's a handy man. Like, he's handy.
He is, and he's been out on sites, and he's seen and rubbed shoulders with electricians out on site all the time. He probably can do some of the work himself and would not. So.
Smart man. He also has respect for the skill set, because he's probably seen people who are really good at it. He knows what good work is. Yeah. And he knows how hard it is. So that makes sense. Tell him he should barter. He does the plumbing, they do the electrical. That'd be a great deal.
I'm sure he does.
Smart man.
It's a good thing to have a brother as a master plumber, let me tell you.
Oh, I bet.
I call him often.
Is he at least in the same city as you?
Oh, well, he was a couple of years ago, not anymore, unfortunately, but close enough that I could still call him and offer him a dinner, and he'll fix some things. So
I like that. That works out well for everybody. You get to spend some time with he gets a nice dinner, and you get your plumbing done. So win-win. So we have a lack of housing, right? There's a lack of housing due to a shortage of people in construction. What are the consequences if we don't address this, right? What are the consequences? This is pretty serious now.
Yeah, it really is pretty serious. I was talking with my our organization, which has provided a lot of great support, which we're eternally grateful for, from Oakwood Homes, and so we interact with them pretty often. And I know that right to the top of Oakwood Homes, they're concerned, right? Because there's houses to be built and there are no people to build them. We have a shortage of people to build the homes which need to be built. And what we're going to begin to see, if we don't fill those jobs or train more people who can fill those jobs quickly, we're going to see the same thing as we're seeing right now, but worse, right? Supply lines that are getting that are slowing down. Specialized jobs are getting backed up, right? I need an electrician on the job. Well, he's backed up however many weeks. Framers aren't there where we need them. Window installers, these are more specialized jobs, and we don't have people to carry out those tasks. I just had a gentleman, so we are in the same building as a PBS, as a Oakwood Homes sister company. Precision Building Systems builds panelized walls, floor systems, and trying to think of the name for the roof portion. But in any case, they're basically a factory. And one of the gentlemen upstairs came down my office and he says, "Hey, do you guys have any framers?" And I said, "Well, not right now." And I just started to inquire a little bit. And I'm like, "How many framers do you need?" And he says, "We need a ton." I said, "How many crews are you running out there right now?" Because they're framers, they're tradespeople are building a lot of these panelized systems, putting together homes for Oakwood Homes. He said, "We're running 10 crews right now, and they need 10 more to complete 10 more crews," right? So that is, 4 or 5 guys on a crew.
Oh, I get that.
So that's, that's a huge deficit, right? I was shocked, but this is the type of stress that the housing industry is under to meet the demands.
Yeah, and you know what? It's creating opportunities now. Like, this is going to create opportunities for
Absolutely.
people who want to go into the profession. And how about the people who are already in the profession who have experience? I got to believe they're benefiting from this.
Oh, absolutely. And what's happening too, from what I hear quite often, is that, you'll have a framing crew, which will walk off the job for a couple dollars more from another builder. So they'll walk right next door. Somebody's going to offer them $2 more an hour, and they're gone. So you've got the
middle of the project?
pressure to keep, pardon me?
In the middle of the project, they're walking off?
Maybe not in the middle of the project, but at the end of one, and they'll use that leverage, right, to say, "Hey, such and such builder next door is going to offer me, $2 more. You're going to meet that demand." Wow. And I'm sure it's happened that people have walked off, but hopefully most crews are more professional than that. But the idea is that that's the kind of opportunities, right, that are there for everybody that's working on the job, and then anybody new coming into those skilled positions too. I was talking with, I know we'll kind of get to some of this too, right? Just this shortage overall, and what kind of opportunities it's creating in the industry. We had a career fair here last week, and so we had a number of different employers come to our career fair. And I always take a little time to talk to each one of the employers, get to know them, and I'm just so excited and at the opportunities that are out there. Sometimes I'm like, "Hey, I want to go work with these guys." And so that's the first thing. If you are looking for a job, go to some career fairs. You meet some really interesting professionals, just some great people. They're doing unique things. Everything from, I had a gentleman walk in here the other day. He's building ADUs, which are accessory dwelling units, which are mother-in-law, suites or cottages right in back of houses all across the Denver area. It's ADU for you, ADU, the number 4 and you. And he needs help too. He's got 20 plus projects going on, but the designs that they're creating are awesome, very modern. But he was just a great contact to make. And he's a gentleman who got into ADUs out of the, he was in the culinary business. He was in the beverage business. He got into this because he's a systems guy. He saw, he just can see needs where things where there's efficiencies that can be enhanced. He got into doing this. So he's kind of the project manager, and he hires people to do all these different pieces on these ADUs. He builds them all over. Check out his website. They're awesome, really beautiful construction. So that's one of the people we have from here. Lennar was here also, and this was exciting to me too, because I see this quite often now. Lennar, one of the Lennar presidents was here, and he had someone he had hired with him also. And this, the woman who was with him, I think was one of his project managers, and she was managing probably maybe 20 different projects, I'm gonna guess. That's pretty typical. And she got into the business, and I think what she had been in before was like an event planning. So she didn't really have a background. This is the opportunities it's creating for career shifters and people who just have maybe not as much experience, but great commitment. They're willing to learn. They're willing to show up every day and willing to, be trained by someone. And the president of Lennar is telling me, look, I'm willing to start people at $60,000 with a potential $20,000 bonus each year. I'm like, that's darn good money.
That is.
If you have some good skills and are willing to learn, you can really be successful there. So the opportunities are just out there for people to grasp, right?
Yeah.
Take hold.
No, I definitely. I can see that project management skill being so critical in construction, just because a lot of that work is project based. You have different stakeholders who are working together, so it's a lot of team work.
Yeah.
So you can see how someone like a chef who had that skill set, or someone who's a project manager, could come in and be successful in construction. It's a great profession, actually, for people who are crossing over from other professions who have those skill sets. So I can see how
made that connection. Yeah, and he was very.
He was really. That's how I picked it up. Yeah,
he just had a lot of charisma too. Not to get too far off, there was one other graduate we've had here too, who has gone on to work with another basement refinisher company, and her experience prior to coming and receiving just boot camp training here was she was in the I think she was a pharmacy tech. So she had real attention to detail, right? Which transferred over to her managing, again, 10, 15, 20 projects for these basement refinishers.
Oh, amazing. I can see that, definitely. No, so many skill sets that are relevant in construction. Talk to me now, as employers look to hire people coming out of your program, what are the soft skills and character traits that they value the most? What are they telling you that they want? So someone listening to this can say, okay, I have these skill sets, or I want to work on these skill sets. So can you please share what they're looking for?
Yeah, we hear this all the time. Really simply, employers right now, maybe this is probably always the case, but even more so now, employers are really willing to train people on the job, right? But they need people and want people who have a good attitude. They're going to be there every day. They can collaborate with others, willing to learn, right? Those seem pretty simple, but there's skills that are learned too. And not every day is great for me waking up, for you waking up, and getting past that and getting to the job and having a great attitude and being humble at different points is really what a lot of employers, I hear it over and over and over. Being dependable, willing to work, team environment, problem solving. Yeah, and you've got to be willing to solve problems along with others, right? Sure. And sometimes that's a give and take, and that's a learned skill also. We have a lot of the high schoolers when they're working. We're trying to really work hard to kind of step back a little bit as we allow our high school students to work together in teams also, and kind of manage some of that interchange that they have, because it's critical that they're learning this skill on how to collaborate, to talk to each other, how to think through a problem, and then move forward. That's something they're going to need in spades as they, move to the job.
Yeah, I agree. I think, again, those problem-solving skills are so critical. I mean, that goes across any industry. I've always said the bigger the problem you solve, the more value you bring, and a lot of times the more money you make if you can solve big problems. So I'm glad that the high school kids are getting that experience, that you guys are doing that for them. That's a great skill set for them to learn right off the bat.
Yeah, it is. And I'm not hearing too, especially at entry-level area positions, I'm not hearing from employers all that much that, hey, they need to come with, Excel experience or this technology experience or that technology, or able to use. They'll train people, I believe, on in those areas also. But if they don't have these base level soft skills, it's difficult to train people, right? So
yeah, I agree 100%. No, it makes perfect sense. Please share 3 resources someone interested in a career in construction can learn more about your industry.
Yeah, the 3 that I think are pretty valuable for different reasons, right? I always refer to data from NAHB, which is National Association of Home Builders. So NAHB.org is great. They have news and articles, educational pieces. You can get local, state information, wage info, and they're routinely distributing articles, short articles too, not anything you need to take, you need 3 hours to read, just a quick article on, I have one here right here, which is just on highest paid construction occupations. It's only, about a page or so. And those are quick reads. I can take in a lot of the information, and that's very, very instructive for us. The other couple are, I ran into Dave and Jennifer Cooper Live. They're YouTubers, and they explore interesting trends, women in construction. They do interviews. They go to different places in the country where and meet innovative people and explore different organizations too. So Dave and Jennifer Cooper Live, and they primarily deal with construction topics. They're great. I got to meet them a little bit. They connected me with an old friend down in New Orleans who was doing some great work down there with high schoolers and building homes also. So his name escapes me right now. The third resource I would say too is teachconstruction.org. Is a really cool website. Tools for teaching construction, how-to videos, visuals, and presentations. Also, that would be just straight up for people who are instructing or want to learn more about tools, how to use them, and how to deliver instruction about those tools. So,
excellent. So I'll just summarize to make sure. NAB, right? That's the
NAHB. So
NAHB. Okay. Yep. NAHB. Dave and Jennifer Cooper Live, and teachconstruction.org. Want to make sure everybody gets that. That's why.
That's great. So the NAHB is NAHB is a .org. So
NAHB.org. Got it.
Yep.
What's going on with your company? Talk to me about the culture of your company and why it would be a good place to work.
Yeah, we have people. We had a gentleman who just left our company, and I only say that because it was probably one of the hard decisions he's ever had to make. He was recruited away, and he repeatedly said how much he loved the culture here. It was one of his the life experiences that he appreciated the most working with this team. But I think it's important really that my job as a director, as an administrator, is to clear the way. Whether when I was a principal, I felt the same way. My job is to clear the way so my staff members can do their job to the best of their ability. So I like to think we really support our people well, so they can get the job done. I think we're clear about mission, vision, setting KPIs, key performance indicators, defining roles and responsibilities, right? It's tough being in a job when you don't know what your primary role is, responsibility is, and what tasks you have to perform on an everyday basis, or what's most important, right? So if I have to decide between five things, I know this one's most important. Make sure that ties to mission, vision, and really being clear with folks about the direction the company's going and what their role in that is. And then I think it's really important too to have fun, laugh. There has to be. You know, it's not all fun all the time. But you've got to laugh and have fun too. We celebrate birthdays with a chocolate cake, and pretty consistently. And sometimes we celebrate with a chocolate cake when there's not a birthday too. So, but we work extremely hard too. And I think it's important to celebrate and praise. I do this repeatedly every time we meet at a first staff meeting, or even a smaller instructor meeting. What did you do this week? What happened this week that is awesome? And highlight those people and those accomplishments. So those are some of the reasons I think we try to make this culture great for people to work in and why they stay with us. We've had great retention the last year and a half, and we aim to keep it that way too.
Excellent. Excellent. Well, Damon, I thank you so much for your time, for being on the Skill Stadium podcast. I wish you continued success. Before we sign off, please share how people can find your organization and your company. If you want to share your website and any links that people could do to find you, how can people find you?
Yeah, we're at ColoradoHomebuildingAcademy.org. And on our website, we have a pretty good, it's pretty simple to navigate. There are drop downs, videos that highlight our different classes that you can enroll in. And there are links to YouTube videos. There's some Instagram links also, and Facebook too, so you can follow events. That's how you can find us. That's probably the easiest way.
Excellent. Well, Damon, thank you so much for your time. I will definitely have the information in the podcast notes when the episode airs. Thank you.
Yeah, it's been a pleasure. Thank you, Keith.